There's a new book out. Anybody who wants chili and who doesn't, Seriously Good Chili Cookbook, 177 of the best recipes in the world. The man who authors this and is now also the host of a new podcast, Off the Beat podcast, a terrific player of the game of golf. Oh, I'm not done introducing you. A fan of the National Football League, and of course, he's repping the Green Bay Packers here today.
Yes, sir.
From back of the day on The Office, Brian Baumgartner. Good to see you, bud.
Great to see you. Thank you for having me on.
Seriously good.
It's
seriously good.
It's seriously. Get the pun, the play on words there. It's not humorous. It's serious.
It's seriously good. Oh, I love it. The Seriously Good Chili Cookbook, 177 of the best recipes in the world. I can kind of figure what gave you the idea to do this, but I'll ask you anyway. Go for it, Brian.
Yeah, so obviously there's a scene from The Office that has become only more and more famous since the show ended. And I never made chili before. This is not something I'm from the South. I enjoy chili. And one day it was football season. I made chili for some friends, and I thought, well, I'll take a picture, and maybe people will think this is fun. People went bananas. And I started getting into it, started making it more and more. And then I visited last year the World Championship Chili Cook-Off in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm going again in 2 weeks. It was insane. Hundreds of people cooking chili, competing, and they're all award winners from their sectionals and their regions. They're the top of the line.
Of course.
And I got a bunch of their recipes, my own recipes, some fans, some celebrity chefs, some regular chefs. I don't know. And we thought, well, hopefully we can get 100. That was our goal. There ended up being 177.
That's what I was asking you. Where did that number come from?
It came from that's how many we thought were worth being in the book. Yeah, it's as simple as that.
So is there a 178th recipe, or just like you call somebody like, did you make the cut?
Nah, that one didn't make the cut.
Bring your chili playbook. Yeah. You didn't make the cut. Oh man, that is amazing. You know, and it's amazing how the world works, Brian, too, because I mean. For this show, you see our logo is me running in a suit, and I never thought in a million years I would ever do anything where the logo is me running, A, or B, in a suit, but that's what I did at the Combine one time when I just was bored sitting next to Terrell Davis at a Combine, and I asked him how fast he could run the 40, and he said right now, and I was dressed in my suit getting ready to do NFL Network. He laughed at me, I cursed at him, and I ran, and I had no idea they would capture it on TV, and then they ran it on TV, and now it's become such a thing where, thank goodness, I have a show with a logo that like that. Chili, just for you, is now, I mean, because of that scene in The Office. Yes. Can you walk me through the genesis of that scene in The Office, Brian, with the chili?
I thought it was funny, but I never imagined that it would catch on like it did. I mean, I had no idea as we were filming it, end of the day, me alone, that it would ever end up being something that I would be talking about 12 years later with you and writing a book. And I mean, it's totally crazy. My biggest memory from that day was, one take. Rich, of course. I'm a professional, so yes.
Because that would be hell of a cleanup to say, let's do it again.
That's right. And I came like kind of the set decorator guy kind of like half sweating to me under his breath, like not wanting anyone else to hear, but like, Brian, we only have 3 carpets. Like, we got to get this done. Like, don't screw this up. And so there was that. There were multiple wardrobe, outfits for me to change into, but I don't think anyone understood how difficult a task it would be to clean me. Like my physical body, like my hands were stained, like that kind of brownie ready color. Yes, and so I was standing. They had playback capabilities on some days when we were doing complicated things, and I was standing at the monitor behind the director, and Greg Daniels, our producer, was there. Everybody is there. Yeah. Dripping off of me. I mean, just chili dripping off of me, and they're trying to peel my coat off and just going, please say you got it. Please say you got it. Please say we're good. Please say we're good. And that night, Angela Kinsey, who I know is a friend of yours, Oscar Nunez, and I had a dinner planned at Mastro's in Beverly. We would do accountants' dinners.
Okay.
And we had a dinner plan pre-existing there. Oscar, because he's a moron, always orders the giant seafood tower that nobody eats. I mean, that's the par for the course. Nobody eats it, but like shrimp and legs, all the stuff. For 10. Yeah, and it's the three of us, and one of them is Angela Kenzie. And we're sitting there, and I pick up a shrimp or whatever, because you eat with your hands, these things. This is even in polite society. Yeah. And I pick it up, and all I smell is chili. Just chili all over. The night was ruined. I think I just started drinking and let it go.
But when they brought out the container, and the actual chili was in it, and it was go time, what was going through your head, Brian?
Well, at the time, I mean, well, don't screw it up. Right. I mean, really,
heavy. I mean, it was heavy, and
incredibly heavy.
Right?
Should I share the secret?
Please. Go for it, Brian. Go.
I don't know that I've shared this before.
But I love when guests say such a thing.
Okay,
So go
I
ahead.
know. So the bottom half was styrofoam. And it was genius because it made it top heavy. So easy. Because they were like, we did all these tests.
Yeah.
We filled it with chili. And there's no way for this to flip out. Like you would have to hoist it to get it out. Right. So they were like, we put in styrofoam on the bottom, then a bunch of chili, obviously, a lot on top, but it made it top heavy and I was able to spill it. I don't think I have ever shared that before. Exclusive on the Rich Eisen Show. I don't think I've shared that before, but yes, that was the truth.
And was it scripted to use documents and other papers to try and scoop it up as well, or that was your ad-libbing right there, Brian?
I only thought about this last week because people always ask us how much of the show is improvised.
Yes, yeah.
That scene became improvised once I was on the floor. Yes, and I think I may be wrong grabbing the file thing to try to scoop it back in. I think that was me, and if not, I'm going to take credit for it. So there you go. Yeah,
I feel like I'm on an episode of your Office Deep Dive podcast right now, man. I mean, like we're going deep dive, and again, it's the genesis of the seriously good chili cookbook. Oh, it's not it's kind of like the old Sky Dome in Toronto. It's Sky Dome, not the Sky Dome. So
yes, or like NFL Network, not the NFL Network.
Right.
Look at me.
Look at you. Seriously good chili cookbook, 177 of the best recipes in the world, right here with New York Times best-selling author Brian Baumgartner on the Rich Eisen Show. I'm looked through. I did not see Aaron Rodgers' ayahuasca chili recipe, Brian. I didn't see any of that. Did he not provide for you?
He did. No, there is not a recipe from him in there. There is not. There's not. But many others. Oscar Nunez wrote the foreword. Okay, actually.
Well, there's Omaha Prime Chili recipe. That is not a Peyton Manning. That is not. But I love it. You got and they're the pictures and the people who have provided it.
We told stories in there, both about the show and about chili that I think are really fun for people. And that's the thing is people think of like how chili recipe, it's either spicy or it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. Like white chili, green chili verde, meat, beans, no beans. It's an amazing collection. And I have started making recipes from the book that I've never made before. Made a chicken, white bean, a white chili a couple of weeks ago. Absolutely delicious, unlike anything I'd ever made. And so I'm so thankful to everyone who contributed, sent in recipes to the book. It was it was a lot of fun.
It's neat, and I'm just like thumbing through it. It's just fun. The layout is great. The photographs are obviously, the finished products are on the right, and then on the left is the recipes, and then good to know info. The 4th, did you guys know this? The 4th Thursday in February is National Chili Day.
Yes, it is.
Wow. Who knew that?
I
just learned that on the braised short rib and chorizo chili page. Cook time 2 hours 45 minutes, like a taut baseball game.
I love
2
chorizo.
hours 45.
I am salivating.
Make 6 servings, so we could do the whole studio that way. Oh, here's the white chicken chili. Is that the one that you referred to?
It's not, but there's a variety. Okay. Yeah,
fantastic. So the Packers, in all honesty,
yes. We got my shirt.
I know, 13 wins seasons in a row.
Yes.
3 of them. And now Rodgers is without Davante Adams, and thus everybody's like, forget it. It's the Vikings division.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that subject matter, Brian?
I mean, look, I heard your good old friend Dan Patrick yesterday actually picked the Packers to go to the Super Bowl this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, there's a couple of things. One, the last 3 years, you probably know this better than me, that Davante Adams hasn't played. They haven't lost a game.
That was last year. They handed the Cardinals their first loss of the season in a game in which Davante Adams
did not play.
Correct.
Here, I think, with all due respect to the Bills and Saints and some others,
you are aware that you're now allowed to completely disrespect them because you gave the caveat of with all due respect.
Correct. I think the Packers may have the best defense in football. And I think they're going to win.
That's true.
But they're going to win differently this year. And they don't have to put up 31 to win this year, I don't think. I expect a similar season to how it's been the last 3 years.
Which is a highly successful 13-win campaign with a top seed for...
Just stop. 13 wins and being near or at the top of the NFC. And this is the year defense wins championships.
Which would be, as you point out, a completely different way...
way of winning.
For them. You know, right. And when you do talk to your friend Aaron, do you notice a more calm, cool, just chill dude? Because he says like he's got, you know, he's connected, he's in connection with himself, his chi, his tea, his whatever he's drinking.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you notice that?
He seems calm. I didn't see him toward the end of the summer. I saw him in Tahoe, obviously, at the American Century. He seems very happy, content, feels good, and you know, hopefully we start out. Hopefully the year starts a little better than last year. The game against the Saints.
Well, I mean, they got the Vikings up first. I mean, right out of the gate. That's
Minnesota. That's big.
That is big.
Yeah, we'll see.
Michael Irvin picked Kirk Cousins to be the MVP of the season.
Yeah, well, that tells you something about Michael Irvin.
I don't know what's in his chili. Before I let you go, what's the Off the Beat pod? What's the pod here?
So you mentioned before the Office Deep Dive, where I talked to my old friends from the Office about the show and why it's now the most watched show in television, bigger than it was when we were on. And I just love doing it. I just love talking to people, and you know. Spoiler alert, there's a finite people to talk to who worked on The Office. Like that number ends, and I wanted to keep going. And so I brought in other friends that I'd worked with on other shows, and now people that I'm meeting for the first time and really talking about. A director I worked with once said to me that great comedy, and to me, moments in your life, happen off of the beat. Off the expected rhythm of how you think life is going to go. And so this podcast is really examining from people those moments that help shape them and where they ended up. So from Eric Dickerson to Paul Walter Hauser, who is going to be on the podcast soon.
He's been in here.
Yeah,
he's been in that show.
Yeah, okay. And I'm having so much fun doing it. It's been a blast. Busy Phillips, I just is going to be coming up in a couple of weeks. Yeah, it's been great, and I love it. So if that kind of thing interests you, definitely check it out.
Well, I mean, I don't want you to give too many away, but was the life-altering moment for Eric Dickerson getting the free car at SMU? Was that
we discussed it?
I bet.
We discussed, and that's where Hail to the Red and the Blue, the Mustangs of SMU. That's my alma mater as well.
We have Cortland Sutton coming on in hour number 3 of the Denver Broncos.
I'll tell you a quick story because this is Rob Riggle. I've known Rob forever. He was on an episode of The Office, and we play quite a bit of golf together. And he was a Marine.
Yes.
And I knew he was a Marine, and I know now he's a comedian. And I don't know, we never had this conversation. I figured, he did his service and then he left and became a comedian and actor. He was a Marine for 23 years.
Yes, he was. Right.
And his time was up. His commanding officer said, "I want you to stay." And he said, "No." And he said, "Why?" He said, "I'm going to go be a comedian." Guy laughs at him. And he's like, "What can we do to get you to stay?" And Rob, in this moment, says, I guess transfer me to L.A. or New York. The next day, he had his papers to New York. He was a Marine by day, went to comedy clubs, and took classes at night.
He's amazing. And
started his career. I mean, that story alone, like how he was transformed and how that is a part of who he is just awesome. So things like that.
If you need a guest, I'm happy to do that. I got so many stories about how I try to get started in this business and doors slammed in my faces and all sorts of things like that.
You're on.
I'd be more than happy to reciprocate. I mean, you've been so kind to come on this show. Seriously Good Chili Cookbook, 177 all-time of the best recipes in the world. Check it all out here from Brian Baumgartner. You're welcome here anytime, sir. Thanks for coming on. You got it.
All right, we'll golf soon.
Let's do it. That's Brian Baumgartner, everybody. I follow him on Twitter. You should as well.